are starting this morning out at Kiki's, where they serve breakfast all day, before we take a tour of Tampa. So welcome to Guest Adventures, where everyone is a guest, including me. Alright, so hungry I forgot to photograph the pancakes that I got, blueberry pancakes, before we started. But the pancakes could feed a family of 4. They're huge. And they're very good. So they look like that, although I've eaten part of it. But nonetheless, just wanted to show you, they look great. They taste great. We are in downtown Tampa. We're going to be taking a golf cart tour in a little bit. But here's the harbor. We picked a cool, very windy day. Didn't know it would be this way, but it's still nice. It's a warm cool, a dry cool. Anyway, a couple nice boats in the harbor there. A little closer look at the Lost Pearl. You can buy some tickets to go on that ship. I like it. It's a neat looking ship. It is so windy I got to hang on to my hat. And look at some of the apartments and hotels. On the other side of the bridge, there's the Marriott. A lot more boats. And some apartments on the water. Very nice downtown area. We're just around the corner from the cruise ship docks. Look from the bridge at some of the other buildings. There's the Embassy Suites. Very interesting building there. We're not quite sure what it is. If you know, drop a comment. But amazing stairway to get up to it. We like the planters in the stairway that are on an angle as well. Nice palm tree in each one. All right, a little closer look and we realize it's the Tampa Convention Center. Very interesting looking building. Right on the channel.
Man-made island at that. Well, I'll make that part make sense for you in just a little while, but for now, we're just going to make our way on out off this little island and over towards our cruise ship terminals via a beautiful little area called Water Street. For Tampa, all these beautiful buildings, this is Water Street. Quickly look the opposite direction, and you've got Tampa Bay coming right in to a beautiful little downtown area. Well, I'm going to make us a little right-hand turn here on this road called Water Street. And Water Street here is a super important little property venture for us in downtown Tampa. You see, we had 2 prominent businessmen. They form a little company together, and we call that company the Strategic Properties Partnership. And they invested $3 billion into this area of our downtown. Well, the first thing you notice is the little Marriott stronghold. We just passed the Water Street Marriott on one side of us. We're now passing the JW Marriott on the other side of us. We come around the corner a minute. Guess what's down there? Third Marriott property called the Tampa Edition. 9 years. This is a brand new district of downtown. You see, Mr. Vinnick, he had his little hockey arena over here, okay? And with that hockey arena, there were a lot of parking lots down here, some businesses, and that was it. It was desolate, it was desperate, and it was boring down here, okay? So he comes up with this idea. You got restaurants like Pearl to one side of us, Boulon to the other side of us. There is no Starbucks right down here in this little Water Street area, and it is intentional. okay? They want high-end, and they want homegrown down here. And that didn't fit the bill for them, all right? So now, when we get a green light, we're going to progress forward, and I'm going to show you what they meant by homegrown, all right?
Wine.
On a wine bar, in perfect Tampa fashion. You can pop into that little Publix supermarket, get yourself a glass of wine, and shop to your little heart's content, okay? Now let me tell you something. Our suburb husbands can't figure out for the life of them why the wives are insisting on grocery shopping at the little Publix downtown. They disappear for like 6 hours, come home with a bag of carrots. Giant smile on their face when they're like, babe, they didn't know what I need. I gotta go back to the grocery store again tomorrow. It's the bar, my friends. It's the bar, okay? Now, we're just making our way right here to the port of Tampa area so you can see the water. And my friends, our port, it's always been an important part of our history. I mean, we're talking back to days as early as the Native Americans. The reports that are going back with the conquistadors to Spain is that the Native Americans are in control of the most beautiful port in the world when they're talking about our port here. Well, guys, we know the unfortunate truth of how history works in these days, don't we? Native American port. It was not going to remain a Native American port for very much longer once they discovered it, right? So either the newly forming United States was going to claim our port, and here's the truth. If U.S. didn't claim it, Spain, England, or France was coming and taking it at that point in history. Couple of world powers, right? Fighting over anyone and anything they can make some money off of. So we become a military outpost here by the year 1824, and they're calling us Fort Brooke. Within the next 25 years, they start calling us Tampa Town. 1855, gents, we finally become Tampa, okay? So we've been Tampa since 1855. But prior to us ever being Tampa with an M, we were Tampa with an N, all right? The Native Americans, specifically the Calusa Indians, they were calling us Tampa, T-A-N-P-A. And in their language, it translated sticks of fire. And it was in reference to the lightning in the sky, because we're actually the lightning capital of the United States of America, hence the name of our hockey team, the Tampa Bay Lightning, or the Bolts, right? It finally makes sense for you, right?
Yeah.
Well, how do we go from being Tampa with an N to Tampa with an M? A mistake, my friends. They were writing T-A-M-P-A on the maps. They decided in 1855 it's time to make that wrong name the right name. So our name's a misspelling of the original Native American name for our city. Well, as we're looking out here, you're looking at this little water area, and I know the fence doesn't make it quite so beautiful, but this is the cruise ship terminal area as well. So here's the deal, my friends. We have this little gent. We're talking around 1905-ish at this point. We have a gent named Stephen Sparkman. He's responsible for spearheading the movement to dredge our port, and that's a very fancy way of saying dig the port out. So they dig this port out. They make it deeper. They make it longer. They open us up to cruise ships and modern industry coming in. We're now the 7th busiest port in the United States of America here in Tampa. We got a thriving cruise ship industry. But when you dig a port out like that, you got a whole heck of a lot of earth left over, don't you? So what do you do with that earth?
Golden Island.
Golden Island.
You said you were from Ohio, didn't you? It's usually the New Yorkers and the Californians that answer that one so fast. We built an island, right? So we built this island. It's now called Harbor Island that we just left, but Harbor Island in its original days was a depot for the boats and the trains before it became this little luxury living area downtown. My favorite one in there is called Dang Dude. We can't see it from here. It's a little harder to see because of the way the trucks were parked, but Dang Dude, the same gent that owns Dang Dude owns Gorditos on one side of it, he owns Gallito on the other side of it, and he owns the Rooster and Till, which is an award-winning restaurant here in Tampa, right? So these are his walk-up joints. It's decent food down here. There's also an amazing the world's largest ice cream cone. The giant cone, it is 5 pounds of ice cream. If one of you can finish it in 8 minutes or under, it's free of charge. If not, you owe those New Yorkers $34.95, all right? Now, my friends, we're passing our famous Florida Aquarium immediately here on the right. We have 2 famous aquariums in our Tampa Bay area. Florida Aquarium right here in downtown, and then we have the Clearwater Aquarium over in Clearwater. She shot to stardom because of a little Disney movie y'all might remember called A Dolphin's Tale. It's about a dolphin named Winter that needed a prosthetic tail. She lived out the rest of her life there in the Clearwater Aquarium. Now, my friends, we are making our way down through our cruise ship terminals. You can see we got us a little Carnival cruise liners in today, but every single week here in Tampa, we do Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian, Celebrity, and the brand new Margaritaville cruise lines going in and out of Tampa. The area is growing in leaps and bounds. We are one of the most popular areas of the United States of America right now. People are relocating down here like crazy. Well, here's the deal, my friends. One of the things Tampa, as a city, prides themselves in is this that you see right here, our urban planning. Because you see, we don't just throw ugly old buildings up on corners, we build communities. You saw it in Water Street. You now see it in this Channel District. It's like a proper downtown district. They've got 3 dog parks down here, businesses on bottom and apartments on top. They do food truck festivals down in this area. So a beautiful little area that you can see feels very much like a proper metropolitan downtown district. Well, I like to say this area tends to be really popular for young business professionals and a handful of recent divorcees who believe that they are young business professionals. But in all seriousness, thank you for the one laugh. For the other 5 yards downhill from there, that was the best joke of the tour, okay? No, as you look around, you see these thousands of residents down here, though. In all seriousness, that's the reason we're down here. Because, my friends, this is the story of modern Tampa. For a long time, people ignored us over here in Tampa. They thought we were a boring, sleepy little area. It's actually this that we're looking at right now. No, not the traffic in front of us. I'm talking about the city dwelling, okay? You see, they could have a semblance of a downtown, urban, city life. But here's where it was different. They could mix it with our culture. And the true essence and culture of Tampa, we're a little more chilled out. We're a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more that beachy vibe, right? So as the old saying goes, they could have the cake, and they could eat it too. The best of both worlds, and on top of that, my friends, we're literally right in the middle of a Florida playground. We got national parks to the north. Everything Orlando has to offer within an hour to the east. We got some of the best beaches in America within 30 minutes of Tampa with St. Pete Beach and Clearwater Beach. Go to the south. We got beaches lining the coast all the way down to Naples. So they can have the cake. They could eat it too. This is for Californians to relocate to, right? I mean, I understand Boise is beautiful and it offers a beautiful little life. But Los Angeles to Boise, that is a culture shock, my friends. So people are pouring into all these areas. With it comes a lot of people, a lot of money, a lot of construction. That's a blessing. Y'all want to know what the Pantee might be Spanish by birth, but he is Cuban by culture. You see, he spends his adult years in Cuba and he founds the Havana Cigar Company. This is Cuba in the 1800s. Cuba in the 1800s is under Spanish rule, which equals oppression. You see, Mr. Ebor, he knows if he ever really wants to make his millions, he's going to need to leave Cuba. He leaves Cuba and he settles in Key West, or islands on the southernmost tip of Florida. And it works great for him in the beginning. He's as close to home as he can possibly be, right? He can get that Cuban tobacco in by sea very easily. But Key West brings on its own set of problems at the time. You see, around the world, factory workers were starting to unionize. They were demanding more workers' rights, more protection. And they were running factory owners like Ebor out of town. So Mr. Ebor gets run out of Key West, and he has to narrow it down to 2 other places. He's coming to the mainland, or actually doesn't have to. He has to come to the mainland, but he's narrowing it down to 2 places. He's either coming to Tampa, Florida, or Galveston, Texas. You see, both have ports on the Gulf of Mexico, but both have efficient train systems, which means he can ship those cigars out all over the world. Comes here to Tampa, Florida, and he finds an area of swampland just outside of downtown. The year 1886. He builds the largest brick cigar factory on earth. Within 14 years, by the year 1900, Tampa is the cigar capital of the entire world. Now it's currently under a restoration project, my friends. It's normally in impeccable condition. They've been replacing windows and shutters and working on the brick on it. It is a quite impressive factory. So remember, this was built on the top of a swampland full of alligators, rattlesnakes, and mosquitoes. And within 14 years, cigar capital of the world. You see, Tampa, Ybor City specifically, was the original Cuban capital of the United States. It wasn't Miami. The Great Depression brought them down to Miami. They were here first working in our cigar enterprise. And that meant the revolutionaries were living amongst our midst here in Tampa. One of which was a young lady named Paulina Pedroso. Paulina Pedroso, she owned a guest house here. She was one of the most feared women in Ybor City. And the reason she was so feared and revered, because she was great friends with Jose Marti. Jose Marti is the father of the Cuban Revolution. She was a revolutionary and a civil rights leader. You see, Marti would come and he would stay in Pedroso's guest house. He would gather the Cubans on the steps of Mr. Ybor's cigar factory and he would excite them about a war that was brewing in the homeland. A freedom of Cuba from Spain. Some of the largest financial contributors to the Spanish-American War were actually our Cuban immigrant workers, right here in Ybor City. As a matter of fact, Teddy Roosevelt and his Rough Riders rode right down 7th Avenue as a way of rallying support before the invasion. Now look here on our right-hand side, the left if you're in the back, my friends, is the Parque Amigos de Jose Marti, a park dedicated to Marti's memory. It was the only land dedicated to Cuba in the United States of America for nearly 60 years. You see, that's land imported from the 6 provinces of Cuba. They later dedicated an area of land in Washington, D.C., but let me just throw this out there for you guys. While y'all are wandering around Tampa this week, you can pop yourselves into that little park, take some photographs, tell all your friends back home you went to Cuba on this trip, and you are technically not telling them a lie, all right? His rival in the cigar industry. You see, Mr. Ybor, he employs all the Cubans. Mr. Haya, he employs all the Spaniards. That included my grandmother, who was actually his receptionist. Now, his factory's gone nowadays, but they took some original buildings they built on, they flipped them, converted them, and now named the beautiful hotel after his namesake. Well, that covers our 2 main people groups, right? We got the Cubans, followed by the Spaniards. 3rd largest population of liquor. During Prohibition, when it was illegal to drink alcohol in the United States of America. So that covers the 3 populations. You got the Cubans, followed by the Spaniards, followed by the Italians. 4th largest population in the area was the Germans. The Germans brought over the printing presses. They were making the labels for the cigars and the boxes for the cigar. My friends, everybody that was living down here, they were living the American dream. They were making money like they had never made in their entire lifetime. Until 1929, that were being produced in our area. Our factories, they began to close. People began to vacate the area in search of work elsewhere. This once thriving to the area as the thriving bar district that we now know it as. So if wild and rowdy are not your scene, I can almost guarantee you Ybor City on the weekends after dark is not going to be your scene because it's the rowdy bar district that kicks off. But I want to pass the bar district because I'm bringing you down to our world famous Colombia restaurant. My friends, immediately here on our right-hand side, the left if you're in the back, is the Colombia restaurant. This restaurant was established in 1905. 6 generations later, it still belongs to the same family. This is the largest and oldest Spanish restaurant in the entire state of Florida. It's actually one of my top recommendations to you as a place to eat. You're going to get some exquisite Spanish food with a little Cuban flair to it. Very famous for their salad, the 1905 salad, as well as their sun. Depression struck, the Cubans left the area and they went down to Miami. When they got down to Miami, they ripped that salami out of that sandwich, they put lettuce, tomato, mayo on it, and in perfect Miami fashion, they say they invented the sandwich. 50 years too late, okay? So there's a little East Coast, West Coast debate of whether salami belongs in the sandwich or not. Now, my friends, as we pull up to this stop sign, we're going to progress through. But look over to your right, the left if you're in the back. You'll see the beginning or the end, depending on how you want to look at it, of those trolley cars.
That's free, you said?
Every 15 to 20 minutes, totally free of charge. Now you're going to see the beautiful old homes that have been converted to little restaurants and coffee shops. But guys, we're down here to look for those little noisy fellows we hear talking to us right now. Because the roosters and hens down here, they're the original immigrants, the original residents of the area. You see, they came over with our very first Cuban immigrants, and they're now the descendants of the descendants of the descendants. They're a protected species. We can't cook them, kick them, or harass them. City feeds them. They roost in the trees at night. They lay their eggs in the bushes. I'm considering starting another tour called the Egg Hunt Tour. You can pay $50 for our tour, find some eggs in the bushes, and make out better than you do at Walmart, right? So guys, as we come through the area, you're going to see the mamas around, all the little chicks just running towards the shrubs right now. Beautiful old bread factory, now the State Museum. The beautiful immigrant statue. And guys, I grew up in Houston, so I'm not going to claim. Look, like the old pictures you see of Spain and Cuba, you know?
Came to you.
See Mr. Ebor, he would build the casitas for his factory workers, and they could purchase them from him for a paycheck deduction and no interest. He was offering something super attractive to his immigrant workers. They were swimming in money. And no place demonstrates it better than the Italian club that we're about to be in front of. My friends, as we pull back out onto 7th Avenue, you'll see the Italian club over on our left-hand side, the right if you're on my back bench. That is still an active Italian club. It was built in the early 1900s. The social clubs like that, guys, they were vital in the culture. I mean, we had people from all around the world who were thrust into an American life together. So English was the common language in the factories, and English was the common language in the streets. But at nighttime, they could go to a social club and hang out with people from the homeland, people that understood them, their culture, their sense of humor, right? They can speak the heart language. They can look for a spouse for Junior. That's how it worked in those days as well. But my friends, they were going to their social clubs. They were dancing. They were drinking.
We taking a stop at the cigar shop. There's a look inside the cigar store. I'm told that sign that they sometimes have a smoke machine, so it looks like there's smoke coming out.
Further into the Heights district that she lived in when she first emigrated to America as a teenager. But guys, look at this area. You got brand new apartments, the white ones. You got an old historic house flipped and converted and turned into offices. If you look over to our right-hand side, the left of your on the back bench, you can see blocks of old, restored, historic homes here in this Heights district. And then as we continue to come down this area, you're going to see a little mini high-rise of apartments with retail coming into the area. The area is just thriving with growth. And it's in reference to the electric motors and the streetcars. Because my friends, this was the original streetcar barn, the trolley car barn, where they used to repair these trolley cars in the early 1900s and make the parts for their motors. 2018, they flipped the building and they turned it into a 73,000 square foot facility full of love for great security. One side's like a public market where you can grab your food and sit community style indoors or outdoors. 3 award-winning restaurants in the building. Oak and Ola, Stillbach, and Eulalie. You've got 3 private event venues in the building. 3 bars in the building. And it's the start of the Tampa Riverwalk. So guys, we're going to stop right here. We'll let you explore the beautiful building. I'll tell you what to look for.
This is inside the building that used to repair the streetcars. It's now full of restaurants and bars. The original hoists are still on the ceiling. That's how they repaired the streetcars, when they would lift them up off their chest. Open area outside. You can take your food and eat in the sunshine. This is called the Fold. And some great pizza slices. Ling's dumplings. Restaurants and bars throughout the building. Inside the building is this mural, the Heights district that we're in. Shows you where the actual building that we're in, and then buildings around it. Many bars, well stocked. Outside of the building is a park that you can bring your food to and the kids can play. We got checkers. This is our golf cart that we're riding on with James, our tour guide. One of the parks in the Heights with a bar that looks like a trolley. And they have Cinderella's pumpkin coach. The horses. Cinderella inside. But she doesn't look very happy. There's also this monument statue that's in the park. But my favorite is Humpty Dumpty up on the wall there.
Acrobat show with my son's school, and it's the first time I've done anything like that as a parent, and I can tell you I've gone to an acrobat show like that since I've been a parent. It's been like 20 years. Your attitude's very different when you see a 16-year-old balancing on. I'm going to stay behind these big trucks, and it might be a little stinky and loud, guys, but it's going to give us time for y'all to get a beautiful view of the University of Tampa, because they'll be slow taking off, okay? Building of the University of Tampa. Again, originally a luxury hotel built in the 1800s. Now, you'll notice all of that beautiful brickwork with the keyhole windows. There's also keyhole doors. But the most remarkable and unmistakable feature is by far all those silver minarets on top with the half moons, right? And that was intentional. You see, Mr. Henry McLeod, he wanted something exotic. He wanted something people in the 1800s had never seen. So he chose the Moorish visitor on the beautiful Bayshore Boulevard. That building there is going to be the future home of the Pendry. It's going to be some luxury downtown living. It is the closest bridge, my friends. Look over to our right, the left if you're on my back bench. And you'll see a very odd, cylinder-shaped building here. The odd cylinder-shaped building, my friends, plays an important role in the Marvel universe of all things. The very first Marvel movie was called The Punisher. And they used that building in scenes for the film. That kicked off the Marvel franchise we all now know and love. Well, architecturally speaking, they designed that building and said it was designed to look like a lighthouse overlooking our Tampa skyline. In the back, Fabrici Modern Italian is well known for their pizza. You guys, this kind of chilled out environment is what you get all the time down here, even when it's crowded. But you'll also find it valuable to know there are 3 complimentary parking garages in the Hyde Park area where you can park for free, okay? Now you got the beautiful craftsman style houses, but notice across my right hand side, left of the back bench, beautiful lion fountain in this gated park. And I always like to point this out to people, because I think it perfectly captures the essence of the age of this area. You see that park, it doesn't look like a Florida park in its design. It actually looks like a European park. Center, okay? But if you look straight out, that's the Tampa power plant in Apollo Beach.
Oh my God.
It looks so close on the water. That's so not close to us, guys, just so y'all know. I mean, 30 minutes on the interstate close, but still, you know? Exactly. So guys, as we pull out, look over here towards Davis Islands to our left, the right if you're on the back. There's a particular mansion over here, a large gray mansion with 2 archway doors right next to a yellow house with an orange tile roof. We see that house over there? That house was rented by Tom and Giselle when they first came down here to Tampa. Now I'm nosy with things like how much Tom and Giselle pay a month. Guys, you got the Gasparilla pirate ship right here as well. Stunning little Gasparilla pirate ship. The Gasparilla Pirate Parade happens right down Bayshore Boulevard as well. And my friends, as you look at the Convention Center, Tampa Convention Center, guys, was voted as one of the top convention centers in the United States of America by popular vote. I think it has a lot to do with all of the activities right at its doorstep. Now, y'all are asking me about the Trolly car at the very beginning of the tour and where the nearest Trolly car stop is. As I turn out to the right, you can kind of see it right now. There's a gray rotunda that's over to our right-hand side. It's going to be on our left, the right for the back benches we're driving along. That's the Trolly car stop in this area, okay? So right outside of the Tampa Convention Center, you can step right out into the Sail Plaza, and there's the Sail Bar out there. Sail Bar, my friends, has a live band on the weekends. There's a little fish restaurant there. You can get on the Cross Bay Ferry and take it over to St. Petersburg and back. The Bay Rocket comes down here, a high-speed boat that goes down to Tampa Bay. Pirate water taxis stop here. The Lost Pearl pirate ship stops here. The Tampa Riverwalk crosses right here. You can cross the bridge over the Harbor Island, or you can get yourself into Jackson's or American Social. 2 great little restaurants, both with waterfront seating. You can see all the great little boating activities. You can even rent your own little pontoon boats, ducky boats, and power boats down here. But my friends, what this means is we have completed our little circle of the city.
So that was our trolley tour of Tampa and boroughs and districts and Ybor City, which seemed to be, that was my favorite. That was kind of interesting. That and the factory or the store that we went into that used to be where they fixed the trolley cars. I like that as well. We finished the golf cart tour, and now we're going to go take a trolley ride around the city. This trolley ride is free. I asked him if he wanted to go, but he's a man of few words. It's one of the streetcars. Comes into this station, station 10. There's 2 tracks here, so we're going to be taking the other one that goes in a different direction. They both just make a big loop. As I said, they're free of charge. You can hop on, hop off, wherever you want. Here's a map of the city and the trolley lines. It says it runs every 15 minutes. There should be a trolley car that stops here. And our trolley car is arriving.
Yeah, when we go back to the hotel, I'm gonna ask them if I can maybe extend the night and see how much I'll leave. Or I'll just check us out in the morning right into the hotel and then stay there.
Now our driver switches sides because we're going to be heading back the other direction. That's his control area. The benches flip back and forth. He's now up front. Or the other end. The other front. And that was our trip on the trolley. Runs from an overhead cable. And this was stop 10 that we got on. There's 11 stops total. So what we did is went to stop 11, then went back all the way to stop number 1, and then it comes back again. Picks you up about every 15 minutes at each station. And it's free to hop on, hop off, wherever you want to go. It was interesting. As we're crossing over the bridge to Harbor Island, one of the things we learned while we were on our tour was that Harbor Island is a man-made island. When they dredged out the harbor for larger cruise ships, they used the earth and whatever they dredged up to make the island, and that became Harbor Island. So that concludes this video. Thanks for watching this far. If you liked it, please give us a like, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for coming along on a guest adventure where everyone's a guest, including me. See you on another video.